Hello again, people. Right, so today's the 10th of March 2025, and the video you're about to watch was filmed on the 18th of February. So I was deliberating whether or not if I should post this or not, and I decided that I will do because, again, it's just a reminder really of how brutal the conditions can get on Kinder Scout. So I didn't do much filming on the way up because I ended up walking up with one of my mates, and the day, panned out the way it did, as you're going to see. So yeah, there's not a great deal of filming, but again, the main reason that I chose to publish it was because I often see videos, with people, with the title, I just survived or nearly died, and things like that, and it always makes me laugh because I always think that these people who put these kind of titles on, they've still got the whereabouts to do the filming, even though, they're supposed to be feeling the sensations that they're nearly dying. So it's a joke, isn't it? So yeah, so on this particular occasion, you'll find out soon. I was not in the mood at all to do any filming. I just, me main aim was self-preservation rather than anything else. So yeah, the views and the subscribers and likes and all that kind of stuff was the last thing on my mind. So yeah, if you don't like it, you don't like it, do you? But there you go. There's nothing else worth watching on the telly at the moment, is there? Anyway, I'll see you on the next one, which will be me discussing my choice of electrics, etc. So see you soon. Bye bye. Take care. Hello again. It's Tuesday the 18th of February 2025, and it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm at the same place as I was at the start of my last video, and I'm just looking over the plateau now. It's got a light dusting of snow on it, and my plan is to start off in Edale. I'm going up Grinsbrook Clough to the Fountain of Youth, collecting my water. Then I'm heading over to the top of Crowden Brook. Then I'm going towards Crowden Head, and then making a line to Fairbrook Naze. And I'm out in the Hilleberg red label Soulo, and I've got black label poles with it. So I'm not sure what to expect weather-wise, because I've looked at about 4 or 5 different websites for the weather forecast, and they're all saying a bit different, ranging from, so right now it is 3 degrees where I am, but the weather forecast is saying it's going to get down to anywhere between -3 and even -11. So all the different websites are saying different things. It's a bit crazy really, because the meteorological industry must be the only industry when you consistently get it wrong, but you still keep your job. Anyway, we're not as well as lucky as them people, are we? So yeah, so that's my plan. I'm not sure how much videoing I'm going to do along the way, but I'll let you have a look at the tent anyway. So I've got 2 mates that I'm possibly meeting up with, because they're heading over to the northern edge and setting off at similar times to me. I'm not sure exactly what routes they've got in mind or what activities they've got planned on the way. So anyway, I'll give you an update when I feel like it, really. Right, see you in a bit. Hello everyone. Wow, what an ordeal we've had. So, seen a bit of the video on the way up, and it's panned out as a strange day, interesting day. In a lot of ways good, but a lot of ways it's been an epic anyway. So what's happened is 2 of my mates have
turned up, and we've all kind of got a loose plan in mind to head over to the north edge. And when we're down in Edale car park, no wind at all. So we're discussing the conditions, and so what happened was, me and one of my mates go up Grinsbrook Clough, and my other mate went up Ringing Roger Way, and then the plan was to sort of kind of meet up on that northern edge. But obviously, as we've gone higher, the winds, picked up, and there's been quite a bit of snow on the top and ice, and there was a lot of ice on the top of Grinsbrook Clough, which I didn't film. And then anyway, so we've ended up, me and one of my mates gone towards Pim Chair, and then the other one caught up, and then we've sort of like tried to find a pitch that'll be convenient for all three of us. So done a bit of mooching round, went to one, and it weren't really suitable because we couldn't escape the wind. The wind was increasing all the time. It started off, progressively getting to like between 20 and 25 mile an hour. That sort of strength when it starts banging your legs together. And then we decide to go to the top of Kinder Downfall, because there's some gruffs there that are quite deep, and was assuming that we might get a bit of respite from the wind there. Well, that didn't work out. There was already someone there in a tent, and so we had a mooch around. Couldn't really find anywhere suitable, so then I kind of remembered that there's a flat spot around about just short of Sandy Hayes, but a bit off the track, a bit off the Pennine Way track. But it's been a while since I was there, and we're starting to lose light now. And luckily for us tonight, there was no clag, and because the snow was down, it was allowing for fairly decent visibility, so we didn't really need our head torches and that. So we're mooching around, get to this place what I heading towards the place what I thought I remembered, couldn't find it. So then we go back to Kinder Downfall, and we end up, I'll turn it off I think. I'm having a bit of a nightmare here. Yeah, so what happened was, we've lost light, we're back at the Kinder Downfall, and then I couldn't really find anywhere. So I thought, I'll go back towards the edge, and find one of them spots that's not big enough for all of us, but it'll be okay for me. So as I'm walking along, I've got no head torch on. You might think that's a bit mad, but night vision is quite effective if you know how to use it properly. And obviously, I'm an ex-soldier, so sort of confident without lights, but could see these torches in the distance, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Is it a group of runners or something like that? But it was getting icy and icy. As I got towards the edge, the temperature was dropping and the wind was picking up worse, and the ground conditions was getting worse. Anyway, after 15-20 minutes or so, the lights arrived, and it was the mountain rescue team, and unfortunately they was looking for a girl. They didn't go into any detail, they just said that they was out looking for a girl, and had I seen anybody. So I explained the situation with me and my mates, and they asked me how I was and that, and they wondered why I didn't have an head torch on, so I explained to them. And anyway, they carried on, and then I carry on walking, get to this place where I thought it might have been a suitable spot for pitching. No chance. I couldn't even get the ground had got that solid I couldn't get my pegs in. I've got 12-inch Easterns, and they was getting like scratching the surface basically, and I had the 12 inches with me really. I didn't expect it to be this cold, otherwise I brought the 9. But anyway, couldn't get that in, so I think sod this, and I'll just find a softer spot. So as I carry on walking, I realise that it's getting more and more icy. I've not got any, didn't bring any spikes with me, because when I looked at the weather forecast I did see some sunshine, and I thought, well, even though I knew it was supposed to be going down to the minuses, I thought, well, there's a bit of sun out. If there's any ice up there and snow, then the people will turn it into mush and I'll be all right. So anyway, the conditions are getting worse. It's getting colder. It's getting windier. And then I see another set of headlights, and it's team 2 of the mountain rescue team. And they asked, how come I didn't have my headlamp on, blah, blah, blah. So I explained to them. And then I decided to get it out then anyway, because obviously having no spikes with me, I needed to see the rocks so I wouldn't end up on my bum. Anyway, get to Kinderlow. Just getting no respite at all from the wind, and starting to kind of like, when you get to that feeling where you need a warm brew, and just there's nowhere suitable to pitch, where even though I'm in the Soulo now, there was nowhere that felt inviting enough to make an attempt at pitching. So then I remembered, if I get down to Kinderlow End, it's a couple of 100 metres low, and I sort of like worked out that there wouldn't be any wind down there, which was a really good decision, by the way. So anyway, so I've dropped to where I am now, which is Kinderlow End, and as I was coming down, I could just feel the temperature getting warmer, even though it was still below freezing. It's supposed to be -11. I believe I wouldn't even be surprised if it was about -12, even 13 or something, because it was cold. Anyway, so I get my tent up down here. And then I get a tent off one of my mates saying that they'd gone to Pim's Chair and they was all right, and that's all. I was thinking, thank God for that. Anyway, so I crack on, sorting myself out. I brought a big sandwich with me, which was nice, cheese and ham salad. I was expecting that to be frozen, but it was wrapped in tin foil. It was inside my rucksack, so I got that down my neck, made a brew and what have you, and then tried to get to sleep, and I couldn't, because then down here started to get really windy, and then it started to worry me because they're 200 metres higher than me, and I hope they're all right. I really do, because I hope they're all right with the meth stoves and that, because honestly the wind is just one. Even inside a tent it's still bad. I mean, you can see this really. This is got the black label poles on it, and I'm 200 metres below them, and it's nowhere near as well, it's increased from what it was when I first arrived, but it's nowhere near what it was like up there. So I'm just so glad that I did decide to come off the top and come down here. So yeah, I hope they're all right. Well, if they're pitched anyway, I mean, it must have been quite soft ground behind Pim's Chair, because I know where they are. So yeah, just goes to show you though, Kinder's brutal. If you look at this place and you look at the altitude and you've never been here and you don't understand it, you don't understand the climate, honestly, you need to be very, very careful when you come here in winter. I mean, I'm on this, what's it called, Big Agnes Rapide SL insulated, and I'm not joking, right? I am so glad I'm down here, because this is shit. I've got the light AF mat with me and the Soulo one underneath it. And I'm glad I'm down here, and I'm glad I'm in the Soulo, and I'm in a 650 Panyam bag with the EE top quilt, Apex top quilt. So yeah, I'm just so glad I went up there. So I hope they're all right. Anyway, I'm going to drink this hot chocolate. I've got a Mars bar somewhere. Where is it? There it is. I'm going to eat that, and then have another attempt at going to sleep. So yeah, I hope they found this girl. Oh, I really do. I mean, and I hope she's got the right gear with her. And even if she has, if she's not got a tent, you know, well, God, it's not worth thinking about. But there was someone up there. We sort of presumed it was a bloke in a tent. It looked like a what's it called? It looked like a tarp tent. That DCF, you know, that lime greeny colour. You know, the mountain rescue people didn't go into detail. But I hope she's alright. I really, really do. Anyway, I'll let you have a look around this in the morning. So, I'm not that far from the top of Jacob's Ladder. And then from there back to Edale probably. Just over an hour 20 or something. So yeah, that's a summary of an epic day. So, see you in the morning. Morning, it is, what time is it? 6:34. And the lads was alright, thank God. And I just hope and pray that girl got found, or she got off alright. I actually did pray for her. So, I mean, they was horrendous conditions last night. I ended up getting about 3.5 hours sleep. So, you know, I'm thankful for that. So yeah, all I've got to do this morning is hike from here to Swine's Back, and then get on to Jacob's Ladder, and then up a booth, and then back to Edale. So I was thinking, it's going to take me probably best part of 3 hours. I said 1.5. Couldn't even think properly last night. But yeah, if I would have had microspikes with me, and that's a lesson I've learned. I mean, I should have known really, but you just don't plan on things. But that's the thing, isn't it? You can't always plan, and you have to be prepared for the worst. What's the old saying? Hope for the best and plan for the worst. So yeah. Anyway, if I would have had microspikes, I'd have got off last night, because that would have been a sensible thing to do. But you learn, you live and you learn, don't you? So yeah, I'm not even going to bother filming this, because it'll still be dark when I'm taking it down anyway. So I'm going to get a brew inside me now, and then pack up, and then start making my way back to Edale. So I'll have a chat with you when we get back. But yeah, the lads was fine. We got a message off one of them, and the wind must have changed, because it wasn't blowing down here when I got off last night, and now it is, and it has been. And I've had some pretty strong gusts, but yeah, I'm impressed with these black poles. So I will look forward to getting a nice breakfast, and I'll catch up with you when I get back to Edale, or if not sooner. See you in a bit. Okay, I thought I'd just give you a look at where I came down last night. So I came down that. This is Kinderlow End. You still see the snow over there. This is the red label Soulo with the black poles. I mean, it's still blowing hard now, but it's not budging at all. Look, you know, it's Grinslow Knoll over there. Yeah, mega impressed with how solid that was. Thank God I had it last night. Right then, I'll see you at the car park. See you soon. Okay, so still got just these couple of things to pack here. That's where I was. Remember, leave no trace, even when it's absolutely Baltic. It's important that you don't leave anything. No excuses. Hello again. I've just had my sandwich. That was amazing, that. Oh, best sandwich I've ever had. Right, I'm making this clip to put on the end of last week's camp because I didn't really finish it off properly because well, for various reasons which I'm going to explain now. So obviously, like, today's the 4th of March, so if you're watching my latest video, this will be in that, but also it's going to be in last week's video, which I'm going to put up first, if that makes sense. So yeah, so what happened last week was, two of my mates was coming out. One of them was Andy Beavers and the other one was Carl Anthony, and we'd planned on pretty much going to the northern edge. This is where I am tonight. I'm on at Fairbrook right now. So what happened was, we'd all decided we was going out, but not necessarily together. And as it turned out, we all met up in the car park at the same time. So me and Andy walked up Grinsbrook Clough, and Anthony, he went up towards Ringing Roger. And obviously, like, when we're in the car park, we're talking about the weather and stuff like that. There was no wind at all, and it's quite warm. But as all three of us was getting towards the top, the wind was, you know, getting stronger and stronger, and we'd kind of like regrouped then. So Anthony had figured out that the wind would be too strong on the northern side, so he headed over towards Pimchair. At the time, me and Andy was just sort of scouting round there. We was pretty much looking for a place that was out of the wind, and we went over, all three of us then kind of like, we then became a party, if you like, of three. So we went over towards Redbrook. There's a spot there, and it's not quite big enough for three. You get 2 tents in there, no problem, but three at a push. But still, the wind had increased, and it was really windy there. So we then went over towards Kinder Downfall, and, you know, there was some guy, well, there was a tent there anyway, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, and they was already pitched, and they obviously, like, got the best spot. So we're kind of mooching around, but it's like, we started off walking at 2, and it was getting on for about 8 o'clock when we'd gone to have a look for a place that I thought I remembered, which we couldn't find. And then when Andy and Anthony started to pitch the tent, I just thought, I'll be a little bit crafty and I'll work my way back and go to one of the spots we'd passed that was definitely big enough for one. But the weather had gotten worse. I mean, the winds was like 25 mile an hour, and it was with the wind chill, it was getting down to, I'd confidently say it was like minus 13 at the point, you know, like 15 minutes after I left them. And then I could see these lights in the distance, which turned out to be the Martin Rescue looking for this girl. So I found out the next day that she'd basically pressed some alert on the latest iPhone, and that sends the location to emergency services, like, you know, saying I'm in trouble pretty much. Anyway, so what happened with me was, when I met the first bunch of Martin Rescue, I could see, you know, well, I realised later that they was doing the job because they was asking me a few questions, obviously trying to figure out if I was suffering the effects of hypothermia or whatever, because, you know, to them I was like, you know, some bloke wandering about in the dark, but I wasn't wandering, you know, and I knew exactly where I was, and I was well capable to handle the conditions. Was with the kit that I had with me, but obviously they've seen me without a headlight on, and sorry, head torch on, not headlamp on, not a car. So yeah, you know, you'll know now that I ended up dropping down to Kinder Low End, which again, it was really a good decision because, you know, I got out of that strong wind. But confusion set in because Anthony, earlier on in the day, had sent me a text message saying that something to the effect that he was at Pim's chair, and what had happened was I didn't receive that message until 8:30 at night, or he could have been getting them for 9 o'clock. But in my mind, when I like dropped down to Kinder Low End and pitched me Soulo, had escaped from the wind, but then the wind had changed directions again, I thought that they'd sacked it where I'd left them pitching their tent at Kinder Downfall. I thought they'd just thought, you know, it wasn't a good option and they'd move. So I then became really concerned about them, because I'm thinking it doesn't make sense to me that, because they must be having a really brutal time, because if they'd gone to Pim's chair with the direction the wind was coming from, it would have been worse there. So I'm thinking, blimey, you know, like they're up there in the freezing cold, and I knew they had good kit with them, but, you know, with the wind chill being like I say, you know, well, the forecast said it was going to be minus 11, but I'm telling you it was like probably getting on for minus 13, because, and the reason that I'm saying that is because quite recently when I was in the lakes at Fleetwith Pike, the wind chill was minus 11 there, and this felt worse. So yeah, so I'm down in my safe spot, and I'm starting to worry about them two, thinking, you know, what sleeping bags have they got? I'm thinking about, you know, trying to make a hot brew on the meth stove in that wind, and I just knew there was no escaping it. So it bothered me a lot. But like I say, that was just total confusion, because I ended up getting this text message late, because, you know, my phone was in my rucksack, and I might have just switched it on when I pitched up, I'm not sure, but yeah. So the reason that I've decided to finish this video off with this conversation is because I just want to remind everyone that I didn't take my spikes, and it's not me being stupid, because I'd planned on pretty much going out on my own and sort of like being, just having to think for myself, and by rights, if I had gone out on my own and I hadn't seen them two, I would have been in my tent well before the dark, and I wasn't, was I? So it's not no one's fault, other than my own, really, like leaving it so late to pitch. But when you're trying to find, the point I'm trying to raise is that it's difficult on Kinder Scout to find a pitch that's suitable for 3 people. I mean, you're lucky when you find a flat one just for one. I mean, I know, you know, several spots, which I've said before, but Kinder Scout's becoming more and more popular, and people are sussing out where these places are. So, especially on a weekend, there isn't much option for a real comfortable flat spot. So just be aware that if you come up here in winter and you haven't got the right kit, you're setting yourself up for a disaster. All these people, I'm not going to mention any YouTube channels names, but you're often hearing, you know, that's an overkill, blah, blah. Just trust me, that is total bullshit. Just if you're going to come up here, I know it's only 600 metres, but it can be as bad as the Alps. It really can. And I don't want people thinking they can get away with inferior gear, because, you know, there's like remnants of tents scattered around this place, wedged under boulders with rocks on them and stuff like that have failed. And yeah, you've just got to be careful, because you don't want to end up like that girl did, having to call out the mountain rescue, or even worse, you know, full on hypothermia and dead, because that's what can happen. And once the cold sets in, if you're on your own, your brain starts to close down, your thought processes and everything, and you don't really have that much time before it's curtains. So yeah, so I just thought I'd get this bit in to finish off last week's video. But on top, I also want to say that I've got a problem with my phone. It doesn't do well at all in the cold. So when I've woke up at Kinder Low End, I've lost the power on my phone, even though I had a Nightcore 10,000 milliamp charger with me. It just wasn't charging my phone. And because I hadn't been down to Kinder Low End for quite a few years, I can't even remember how many years, it's more than 10 anyway, but I'd not got a map with me, but I knew where Hayfield is, and but what I hadn't calculated for was the number of valleys before Edale. So when I first got up, I thought I could see Grinslow Knoll, and it wasn't. And then it dawned on me, I thought, hang on a minute, I've got a hefty walk here back to Edale. And what I forgot to mention was, the night before when it was really cold, my water frozen, and I had my bottle tucked down my top, trying to defrost it so I could drink, but I was getting cramp in my thighs. So then the next morning now, when I woke up, I'm thinking, I don't want to like be, you know, going, gaining altitude again, hiking uphill. I just wanted an easy option back to the car park. So what I did was, I walked down into Hayfield, ended up chatting to some old bloke who gave me a cup of coffee at his house. So I just happened to give him a quick comment on how nice his garden was and that, and then he was asking me where he'd been, so I was telling him about, you know, telling him a little story, how cold it was up there. Yeah, so then he told me where the bus stop was, and I ended up walking to the bus stop and then getting the bus to the train station in New Mills, and then the train back to Edale. Yeah, so, you know, like I say, just be careful when you're coming up here when the conditions are bad. So yeah, it turned out hyper icy, and again I didn't have my crampons or micro spikes. Yeah, it's one of them, innit? Anyway, so you can skip this if you're watching today's video. So I'm going to split them up anyway. So last week's you'll probably see on the 5th or 6th. And then today's, which I'm doing on the 4th, you'll probably see that the day after. Anyway, take care everyone.